Just a short boat ride from Bali lies a world few truly explore. The Nusa Islands may be small, but their story is anything but. From black magic legends to stunning cliff views and manta rays, I set out to discover what really makes Penida, Lembongan and Ceningan so special. Welcome to a new episode of Indonesia is not only Bali. Just off the southeastern coast of Bali lie the Nusa Islands, Nusa Penida, Nusa Lembongan and Nusa Ceningan. While geographically close to Bali, these islands have historically maintained a distinct identity. Even so, we have Bali in sight from here. It's a different world. Welcome to this slice of paradise. Welcome to the Nusas. What you can find here? This is what I will show you in this episode of Indonesia is not only Bali. So let's start with the biggest of the three islands. In the 17th century, Nusa Penida was an independent kingdom. However, it was conquered by the Kelingking Kingdom, Bali's last royal stronghold. The final ruler of Nusa Penida was killed in battle, and the island was absorbed into the Kelingking Regency. Under Kelingking's rule, Nusa Penida was used as a place of exile for criminals, political dissidents, and those accused of practicing black magic. This reputation contributed to the numerous legends that surround the island's history and may explain its prolonged lack of tourism development. In recent years, tourism has begun to flourish, particularly on the other two islands in Nusa Lembongan and Nusa Ceningan, attracting divers, surfers and backpackers. However, Nusa Penida remained relatively untouched by tourism until the early 2010s. The viral success of Kelingking Beach on social media platforms led to a surge in visitors, bringing both opportunities and challenges to the island's infrastructure and environment. To get to Nusa Penida from Bali, you can take a fast boat from Sanur or, like me, go the local way, by public ferry from Padang Bai. It's slower, sure, but also way more atmospheric. Once in Sampalan, I checked into a peaceful little homestay with modern rooms and a nice little garden which features also a pool. The owner even rents out scooters, which is the best way to explore this island. Okay, it's so hot on this island. This side is definitely a must visit when you are too hot, because this is a very special temple, Goa Giri Putri. Goa means cave, Giri means hill, and Putri I think means strength. So first we need to go up some stairs and then we go into a temple that is inside a cave. Hidden behind a small crevice in the limestone, the entrance leads into a vast cave that stretches deep beneath the hillside. But this place is more than just a geological wonder. It's a pilgrimage site, not just for locals, but for many Balinese who travel here to perform purification rituals and seek spiritual guidance. To understand why, we have to look at the deeper spiritual role of Nusa Penida in Balinese culture. According to a local legend, the last king of Nusa Penida, defeated in battle when the island was conquered by Kelingking, did not simply die. he transformed into Ratu Gede Mekaling, a powerful and feared spirit who ruled over dark forces from the island. The story tells how Mekaling once crossed the Badung Strait to Bali during Nyepi, the Balinese New Year, cloaked in darkness and accompanied by evil spirits. His presence caused widespread illness and fear, until the Balinese priests fought back with powerful rituals and offerings, eventually forcing him to retreat. This legend is still remembered today. Mekaling is believed to return each year during Nyepi, which is why Bali falls silent on this day, in hopes that the spirits believe the island is uninhabited. Nyepi is not only a spiritual celebration, but also a day of silence that affects every visitor. No flights, no traffic, no lights, and no outdoor activities. It's a powerful and unique experience, but one that requires some planning if you happen to be in Bali during this time. Because of this powerful legend, Nusa Penida has long been regarded as a place of spiritual balance, a dark counterpart to the energy of Bali, but also a guardian of it. This reputation turned the island into a sacred site for purification and protection rituals. And within that context, Goa Giri Putri plays a central role. Today, Balinese pilgrims travel here to perform cleansing rituals, praying at a series of shrines inside the cave, each one dedicated to different deities and energies. The cave itself symbolizes the balance between light and shadow, between the visible world and the unseen. Alright, and then at the end we came out into the jungle. And by the way, I'm not alone this time, I have some help from my fellow filmmaking friend Matti.
Hello.
We know each other from Colombia back in the days, and he lived in Hamburg for a while.
Long time ago, from Palomino, Colombia to Nusa Penida, Indonesia.
Yeah,
Nice one.
a little bit from the temperature and from the landscape, a little bit similar.
True. We were also sweating there, for sure.
How did you like the cave?
Impressive. Really like it. Like really big, giant, empty cave. No one around. Also, I really like it that, right? We were only there with the people taking care of it. Very silent. You can listen the drops of the water falling. And then the exit of the cave towards this landscape. And the silence.
It is sunset time here in Sampalan. We're at the harbor, and right next to the harbor is actually the night market. This is where we're gonna sample some local foods, some local favorites like martabak, bakso, maybe some satay. Let's see what we can get ourselves into. Okay, we start things off with bakso ayam, which is a typical soup actually from Java. Remember my Java episode? This is where I had it first. Always a good choice here. Bakso ayam. Let's try. Rich flavors. Okay, next on the menu is satay ayam. This is chicken sticks. You can find it actually everywhere in Indonesia. Every street corner you can find these satay sticks. And they come with peanut sauce and rice. So good. I love peanut sauce.
And to finish it off, we have a local favorite. You know it already if you have seen my episode from Flores. It's called martabak. It's the deep fried pancake, and we ordered it with banana, chocolate, and with peanuts. And Matti, man, he's already into it.
Cannot talk.
It's too good.
This is too good.
It's too addictive. Once you get into that, it's a trap. You will never escape. You will always want to have it.
In the night market, under the...
It's now time to leave this beautiful place here in the north, and I'm heading southeast. I left my surfboard and the big bag here. Scooter's ready, have my directions in here. Let's hit the road.
Kinda mysterious, shaded with someone I'm not really into. Do you need to fix it? Talking bullshit.
The road conditions get worse and worse and worse. The more you go into the mountains, the more you go off the northern road. A lot of potholes, you need to be really careful. In the turns, always beeping, so that the cars that come know that you are coming, so they go a little bit slower. But the more you go up into the mountains, the greener it gets. Beautiful surroundings here. And now the last stretch of the road to my next homestay, which looks gnarly. Like, this is probably the worst road conditions I have seen here on this island yet. I have arrived in the southeast of Nusa Penida, and this is the place where I'm staying. Super green, beautiful garden area here, and it's all these little bungalows here. I'm in bungalow number 3. Let's check it out.
If you want to follow my tips, all the restaurants where I ate, all the highlights, all the tours, all the contacts of drivers, of motorbike rental places, and of course all the accommodations where I stayed, you can do so. I compiled a whole list of that. I have full itineraries for 1 week, for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks to explore this beautiful country. And on top of that, Google lists with all the spots you can follow to navigate through the country.
Just follow the link below and use this promo code to get a 10% discount. So we made it to one of the most popular spots here in the southeast of the island. This is called Diamond Beach. Diamond Beach, Diamond Cliff and Atuh Beach. 3 spots, all in the same place. You pay an entrance fee to actually go to the beach and to the cliff, but the views are definitely worth it. It's pretty cool. Because of its location, Diamond Beach remained largely inaccessible and untouched until late 2018, when a path was carved into the limestone cliff to provide a safe access to the beach. This, paired with the rise of social media, led to the transformation to a popular tourism destination which is still ongoing.
So this is what you get when you go to Insta-famous places. The staircase, which leads down to the actual Diamond Beach, is full of people just taking photos of that view. Different shades of blue you can see from here. It's just incredible. So what used to be once a natural site turns into kind of the theme park. You have this flying fox that has just recently been built. You have a giant swing that they are building right now where you can swing over the cliff, and you have loads of these Instagram photo spots with like a heart or a swing. So yeah, tourism pretty much changes this island too. We drove a little bit away from the coast, where all the hotspots are. Now we are in these rolling green hills. They're called the Teletubbies Hills because they resemble the scenery you know from the show. And here it's a completely different story. No people, no tourists at all. It's quiet, peaceful, and the landscape is just beautiful. You can see over there is the coast. See the ocean? And here around us just farmers, coconut palm trees, and birds.
Then I drove back through the rolling hills to my accommodation to enjoy a coconut while witnessing the sunset in the jungle.
Good morning, I'm on a little sunrise mission to see the famous spot now without people. So it's 6 o'clock and the sun is about to rise, 6:20. So this should be like a 20-25 minute walk to get to the Diamond Cliff. So let's see if it's worth it. It's quite steep, but at this time of the day it's quite empty. So pro tip, come here super early and you're completely by yourself. Alright, made it down. Cannot swim at this beach, but there's not a single soul here, so go for a little beach walk. Ew.
Next I went to Atuh Beach, which was actually the first of the two beaches to be made accessible when locals built a concrete staircase to reach the shore in 2016, 2 years before Diamond Beach. So I spent the rest of the day drinking coconuts and enjoying the scenery by the water.
Okay, it's go time again. Leaving the east, heading to the west, checking out the other popular hotspots. One of them is probably the most popular beach in all of Nusa Penida. So, hopping on my bad boy here and filling up some gas to be ready for the ride. Let's go. Okay, I've fueled up. Now I'm heading over here. See. Oopa, 1 hour. I arrived here in the west of the island. This is where the most popular beach is located. This time I actually have a pool here because I'm staying here for 3 nights. I picked this particular spot. Huge bungalow. You hear some bells in the back because there's a temple nearby. They have a celebration or festivities going on over there. I got my welcome drink. And now let me show you my little bungalow here. So you come in here, have a little seating area here. You come in here. Bed. Big ceiling. There is the AC, and over here we come into the bathroom.
Before checking out the tourist hotspots everyone is talking about, I wanted to head somewhere a little quieter first. Puncak Mundi at 521 meters above sea level.
Okay, I made it to the highest point of Nusa Penida, and there's actually a temple here. Puncak Mundi. Mundi is the mountain, basically, the highest mountain here on the island. And right on top of that sits that temple. There's a ceremony going on today, so I'm not sure, there's nobody here where I can rent sarongs or anything, so I'm gonna stay outside, but it's beautiful to see from the outside.
Pura Puncuk Mundi is one of Penida's oldest temples and is dedicated to Ida Sang Hyang Vidi Vasa, the Balinese supreme god.
It's pretty spectacular. You can see to all of the sides of the island from here, especially when you drive up. You can stop here and there to check out the view. You have the banana growing here, you have palm trees, and then you look down and you see the coast. Beautiful. The next spot is called Broken Beach. The way down here with the scooter was an adventure. It's not only broken beach, it's also broken streets everywhere. So let's see what this place is all about. I'm here just before sunset and most of the day tourists have left already. I just read that this place must be buzzing with tourists when you're here, like during daytime. But at the beginning and at the end of the day, there's not so many tourists. So let's check it out.
Broken Beach, or Pasi Uk, as it's called in Balinese, is a natural formation that was created when the roof of a sea cave collapsed many years ago, leaving behind this perfect circular bay, connected to the ocean by a natural stone arch. According to a local legend, the collapse happened as a form of divine punishment. Long ago, in a quiet coastal village on Penida, people lived in harmony with the land. One day, a massive snake appeared, mysterious, silent and sacred. The elders called a meeting. Some said it was a divine guardian, others feared it brought danger. Their choice sealed their fate. The snake was killed. And the gods, angered by this act, tore the earth apart. Cracks split the land, homes crumbled and the sea rushed in. What's left is a circle of cliffs, now called Broken Beach. Just a short walk from Broken Beach, you can find Angel's Billabong, another incredible natural feature, where the sea flows into a crystal clear natural pool framed by sharp rocks. As beautiful as it looks, this place can also be extremely dangerous. There have been several tragic accidents where tourists were swept out to sea by unexpected waves crashing over the rocks, sometimes even during calm conditions. That's why it's so important to respect the warning signs here and keep a safe distance from the edge, because in the end, no photo or video is worth risking your life for.
Welcome to rain season here in Nusa Penida. After a big storm, the whole electricity went off in the village, so I'm here in my bungalow having no power at all. Connected my phone to my laptop, which still is fully charged, so I can actually use the GPS tomorrow to go to the beach. I want to explore very early in the morning. I have dinner. Okay, they managed to prepare some gado-gado for me, which is vegetables with peanut sauce. Alright, it's gonna be dinner. Good morning. It is very early. It's 6:30. I got up at 6 during sunrise to make it here while it is already bright, so I see all the potholes to come here. I made it to the most popular spot here in all of Nusa Penida. It's called Kelingking Beach, and you all probably know this spot from Instagram, from the internet. It's this dinosaur-shaped, or this dinosaur head-shaped beach. And I made it here before everyone, so there's no people here.
The name Kelingking actually means pinky finger in Indonesian because, from above, the narrow headland was thought to resemble a little finger pointing out into the sea. Not too long ago, Kelingking Beach was little more than a hidden viewpoint known only to a handful of locals and adventurous divers. Everything changed around 2015, when photos of this dramatic cliff, often compared to the shape of a T-Rex, started going viral on Instagram. Back then, Nusa Penida was still far off the tourist radar, especially compared to Nusa Lembongan, which was the most famous of the Nusas at that time. But Kelingking Beach changed all that. It's the spot that put Penida on the map and kickstarted the tourism boom you see today.
On a side note, there's something going on here. They turned this whole place into a theme park, like we've already seen it at Diamond Beach. Here it's even worse. They started building all these things around. They have swings, they started building more constructions over there. They started building like big houses over there just right by the cliff. And the worst part of all is this here. Yes, there's literally a huge construction going on straight at the spot, because there's a Chinese company that is building a glass elevator right here to make it down easier.
Okay, don't get me wrong. The tourism boom that local communities are experiencing here has brought a lot of positive changes. Increased income opportunities, new small businesses and more jobs mean that many families on Nusa Penida now have a better future. But at the same time, it's hard to ignore how quickly these beautiful places are getting overdeveloped. In my eyes, nature like this doesn't need to be improved. We're just guests here and we should act like it. But before I get into our role as tourists, let me first show you this place completely by tackling the sketchy trail down.
Look at that. This is the staircase which goes down. And then you can see down there's another one where you actually need to kind of climb. So I'll see how far I can go. I want to go. Super windy today as well, and there's a lot of monkeys actually. So you gotta not look them into the eye and just mind your own business. Don't have anything they can grab from you, and you should be fine. The view is just insane. Takes a lot of time and effort. You need to have a lot of upper body strength in order to lower yourself, and I think when you go up even more, you need to pull yourself up. Not much more to go. Wow. Some of these steps are pretty high and you have just little cracks to put your feet in there. So definitely bring some proper shoes. I brought my all-terrain sneakers and they've done a good job so far. So gotta head down to the beach, enjoy the scenery for a bit, and then this was only 50%. I still have to climb all the way back up. I don't see many people, or I don't see actually anybody coming down here. So gotta enjoy this a little bit. Have it all for myself. Beautiful. Okay, made it down. Kelingking Beach right here. It's wild. With all the storm and the swell coming from the south, very dangerous to go in here. I wouldn't suggest swimming here. This takes you straight back into the ocean.
As travelers, we play a big role in how these places develop. Instead of treating spots like Kelingking Beach as a quick photo opportunity, we can choose to really experience them. To slow down, stay a few days instead of rushing through on a day trip, and support the local communities by staying at homestays, eating at local restaurants and exploring beyond the famous viewpoints. That way, we are not just taking something away, but giving something back and helping to preserve the magic of these places for the future. On that note, I decided to charge up my batteries at a local restaurant and explore a little bit more of the local cuisine.
Someone actually gave me a recommendation to come to this warung because they make really good chicken here and it's apparently something very typical for this region. So
this is the ayam bakar or grilled chicken. This comes with steamed rice on the middle, the steamed Indonesian vegetable mixed with fresh peanut sauce, the crackers, the garlic crackers, and the sauce we call the sambal mata. That means is the fresh ingredient sauce. Make it from fresh chopped tomato, salad, lemongrass, Balinese lime, the green one, and then mix with our homemade coconut oil.
That's really good.
Rainy adventure today. It has been raining since yesterday, and I was actually hiding in my hotel for most of the day, but then I finally decided, let's go for it. Temeling Beach, this is the destination, and to get there you can either go by motorcycle yourself, or you take one of these with these guys here. Oh good, thank you. If it's dry, I think I would be good to go here, but I'd only advise you to do so if you feel comfortable on a scooter. And then the other option is to take one of the taxis, basically go with one of these guys, but I'm not sure how safe that is actually. And the third option is to hike. This is what I'm doing now. So I'm gonna take this as an opportunity to be a little bit more active today than I have been all day. It's beautiful, this kind of rainforest today. Lives up to his name. Altogether I think the whole stretch is about 2 to 3 kilometers. So I guess it will take me 40 minutes to get there. I paid another 10,000 up there for maintenance of the way. Fair enough. So altogether, if you want to come here walking, you have to pay about 5,000 for the parking and 10,000 for the maintenance fee of the way. So yeah, fair enough. So this seems to also be a special place spiritually for the locals, because I can see shrines all along. Very nice. So I think this is the first pool where you can swim in. Wow, I have to admit, this surprisingly is very, very cool. I mean, the view here, coming through that little cave here, wow. Looks like I've made it. There is another pool down here, and there is the beach. Looks like it's high tide, so probably not much of a beach today. Wow, this was completely worth it. I'm down here all by myself. Look at that. I have the whole pool to myself. Jeez. Oopa, and not too cold actually.
These pools are fed by natural freshwater springs flowing straight out of the limestone cliffs. For the local community, Temeling has always been a sacred place for purification rituals, a place to cleanse the body and the spirit. Floating here, surrounded by the jungle, it's easy to feel why this spot is so special.
How cool is that, eh? Wow. What is life? Alright, next point on my list is Banah Cliff Point, where you apparently have one of the best sunsets here in Nusa Penida. And it's not that well known. It's a bit tough to get here. It's the same way when you go to the Temeling forest and the little natural pool where I've been. And then you continue a bit further and you come here. Wow. Such a magnificent view to the coastline from here. All these cliffs you can see. Over there in the distance you can see, because of the crane, you can see Kelingking Beach in the distance. Wow. The cliffs here.
The family of my guest house is just so cute. They also offer breakfast, dinner and lunch, and now they just brought me some dinner here. I have some gado-gado and some satay. I'm so hungry. One of the spots to visit apparently in the west of the island is Crystal Bay Beach. It's a pretty nice beach with this rock formation there right in the middle. But I have to say now in rainy season, the beach is full of trash. And with the storm that comes in, it's even worse. So normally a good spot to go snorkeling, not today though.
That was another adventurous ride. I drove up the coast a little bit more because I've heard about a spot called Gamut Bay. And I just arrived at a Gamut Bay. It's parked up here. There's a sign that says beach and it looks very promising. Really beautiful wild beach. Palm trees right over here. And I think there's also a little restaurant there, so you could probably also drink something here. So I would definitely prefer this spot over Crystal Bay.
With the west coast of Penida behind me, it was time for a change of pace. Bags packed, scooter returned, one last glance at the island before hopping on the boat to Lembongan, where life moves slower and the waves are never far.
After a really rainy transfer, I made it to Nusa Lembongan. I made it to the place where I'm staying. I have actually the best room here in this accommodation. It's a homestay again, super cheap, no breakfast included, but the view from here is just insane. Look at that. This is my private balcony. There's nobody next to me because it's the top level. You can actually see the wave from here. You can see the surf spot, which is right over there, where you see the palm tree in the back. Right next to that is the surf spot, Shipwreck Point. And the room itself is pretty basic. So I have a bed, a desk, a big room to put all my luggage, and a fully equipped bathroom. And I could even rent a scooter from here, which is just perfect. So that's my base.
Nusa Lembongan and Nusa Ceningan may be much smaller than Penida, but they are also more connected. Quite literally too. The islands are joined by the iconic Yellow Bridge, and you can explore both in a single day by scooter. But long before the crowds, Lembongan and Ceningan were simple, sleepy islands with little more than fishing boats and seaweed farms lining the shores. Then, in the 1970s, the first surfers arrived, drawn by the island's perfect reef breaks and uncrowded waves. Through the 80s and 90s, things slowly changed. Word got out. The first dive shops and guest houses opened. In the early 2000s, tourism began to grow, construction increased and infrastructure followed. Today, Lembongan boasts a well-established infrastructure. A variety of accommodations, eateries and even bakeries cater to visitors. Regular speedboats from Bali make access straightforward, contributing to its popularity. Despite this growth, both islands have retained their local charm, a balance I'm eager to explore.
Okay, sun is rising over here, so it's time to start this day and check out the seaweed farming, because this is mostly happening in the morning, especially at low tide. It is low tide, it's very early, so I'm gonna head over there, here from the other side of Lembongan.
So here in the east side of the island, you have this seaweed farm. It's massive. It's between actually Lembongan and Ceningan over there.
Long before tourism took over, seaweed farming was the main source of income for many families on Lembongan and Ceningan. Even today, you will still find locals out here at sunrise, planting, harvesting and drying the seaweed by hand. Most of it is exported, to be processed into a natural thickener used in everything from toothpaste and cosmetics to ice cream and processed foods. It's tough physical work, and while the industry has declined with the rise of tourism, seaweed farming still provides income for many families. When tourism came to a halt in 2020, many islanders returned to the seaweed fields. What had once been a fading tradition became a lifeline again. A reminder of how resilient and self-sufficient these communities can be.
While it's that early, I thought, why not check out the other hotspots in this part of the island. I made it to the most popular site here on this part of Nusa Lembongan. It's called Devil's Tears. There's a huge parking lot. There's all these paved ways to get here. Devil's Tears is a cliffside with beautiful views and water splashing onto the rocks.
But Devil's Tear isn't just a natural spectacle. Many locals believe the ocean's crashing waves here reflect the moods of unseen spirits, hence the location of a small temple right here. It's this deep respect for nature's power that still shapes everyday life on the island. But to really understand that connection, you have to look beyond the cliffs, to the temples, the rituals, and the ancient trees that hold meaning for generations. Speaking of trees, I went to see the temples and the so-called big tree in the center of town next, which, during my stay, was often also the center for local religious ceremonies. This large banyan tree on Nusa Lembongan, locally known as Pohon Beringin, holds profound spiritual significance in Balinese Hinduism. Often considered the tree of the gods, banyan trees are revered as sacred entities, believed to be the dwelling places of spirits and deities. Their expansive roots and canopies symbolize the interconnectedness of life, reflecting the Balinese philosophy of harmony between humans, nature, and the divine. And that's why the temples surrounding the big tree on Nusa Lembongan serve as sites for offerings and ceremonies. From one big tree to many tiny ones, it's time to slow things down a bit and get back into the nature.
Wow, this is another thing you can actually do here in Nusa Lembongan. In the northeast of the island, there's a huge mangrove forest. It's a big area covering a big portion of the island actually. So if you're tired of all the beaches and the ocean and the surf, just come here. It's very quiet. You can rent a kayak or you go with an organized tour where someone is like driving you through this forest.
Spanning approximately 230 hectares, the mangrove forest on Nusa Lembongan is a vital ecosystem teeming with life. The 13 different types of mangroves to be found here act as natural barriers, protecting the coastline from erosion and storm surges, while also serving as nurseries for various marine species. The dense roots provide shelter for juvenile fish, crustaceans and mollusks, contributing to the rich biodiversity of the area. Recognizing the importance of preserving this environment, local communities even have initiated conservation efforts. Organizations like the Lembongan Recycling Center have been instrumental in fighting the waste management crisis. Additionally, groups such as Trash Hero and Zero Plastic Lembongan engage in regular beach cleanups and educational campaigns to promote sustainable practices among residents and visitors alike.
And when you are in this part of the island, you should definitely also stop to take a look at the beach, because in this part of the island you can see Bali over there, and it is a bit more quiet, especially when you go to the mangroves or when you come back. Definitely step by one of the beach clubs, beach bars or warungs that are there. Some of them even have a little pool where you can go for a little dip, but definitely a good place to enjoy a cold coconut.
For many travelers, the beaches are what draw them to Lembongan in the first place, and it's easy to see why. From the dramatic cliffs of Dream Beach to the laid-back vibe of Mushroom Bay, each spot has its own charm. Yungut Batu, where I'm staying, is the island's longest stretch of sand, lined with cafes, beach bars and guest houses. The reef just offshore keeps the waters calm and shallow, making it not only ideal for stand-up paddling, snorkeling or a relaxed swim, but also one of the safest beaches on the island for kids and families. This west side of the island is also the best spot to watch the sunset. And for this I went a bit further south, to the Clifftop Bar, to meet up with some friends over beers and an exceptional view to Bali.
Alright, when in the Nusas, of course, one thing to do, like in Bali or in Lombok, is the surf. Because the location of the islands is just perfect for going in here, go for a surf, before or after you explore the island. And for this, I have a local legend here. This is Agus. Hello. He's a really good surfer. Actually, I know Agus from Kiko, a good friend of mine that has been here before. He was with Agus out there at the shipwreck, which is actually there behind us.
It's good right now.
And this is also actually one of the places that is super famous for Nusa Lembongan, where we are. So anyway, surfing. What can you tell people about the surf here on Nusa Lembongan?
Yeah, so I'm actually very lucky to live here because we get like lots of good wave from beginner to advanced. So we have like performance wave, high performance wave, also good for beginner, and then also good intermediate wave. So yeah, we're actually very lucky. It's nice.
And if you are keen to check this spot out to surf here, you can actually get in touch with this man. I put his detail down here.
Yeah.
We can get in touch. And there's another thing about him, because his wife and himself actually as well, they also prepare some little treats that you can have before surfing, so you're ready and you don't feel bad about having little treats because you went surfing. What that is, I show you after the surf. This is really enjoyable because you can see we sit right next to that really impressive wreck here, that crane that collapsed. And in the back, you see Mount Lagoon on Bali. And then underwater, like even when you paddle, you see all these marine life. You see all the colorful fish like swimming by the corals. But these corals are also a little threat because they're actually, it's pretty shallow here. So you need to be really careful and always see where you are. Jump off from the wave early enough to not hurt yourself. But other than that, beautiful spot here.
Look how shallow it is.
After surf, sweet treats. Here we are. That's the donut shop, right? So what do you have on offer?
So we have all variation of chocolate, white chocolate and strawberry, and also some filling. You can choose the filling that you like. And then we also have like carrot cake and banana cakes for the best seller.
All right, let's do this.
Good morning from Nusa Lembongan. Another early morning wake-up call to enjoy not only the sunrise, but to hop on a boat and to go on a little snorkeling trip to altogether 3 spots. And I hope we see some beautiful marine life, right?
Yes, marine life.
still on Instagram. Gotta post all these impressions from here.
I have to, I will forget.
The waters surrounding the Nusa Islands are home to some of the richest marine biodiversity in all of Indonesia. Over 250 species of coral and more than 560 species of reef fish have been recorded here, including reef sharks, the iconic ocean sunfish, turtles, and the majestic manta rays.
So actually we are at Manta Bay, which is actually near. See this? This is Broken Beach, where I've been before. What's your verdict? It's like a zoo, huh? You see all the mantas.
So you see a lot of the mantas, and they're super big.
Super big, but also a lot of garbage in here actually. It's probably the rainy season when like all the currents bring the garbage here. But yeah, a bit sad.
Marine conservation is considered extremely important to sustaining future levels of tourism on the islands. And in February 2009, a local NGO from Nusa Lembongan, facilitated by the Nature Conservancy Coral Triangle Center, opened a community center on Nusa Lembongan.
Okay, next spot. Actually, we've seen that spot from land.
Yeah.
Crystal Bay over there. The beach we've been to a few days ago.
Thanks to the nutrition-rich currents flowing through the Lombok Strait, visibility is often excellent here, and the reefs are bursting with life. While snorkelers can already catch a glimpse of this vibrant underwater world, it's only the beginning. Because for divers and freedivers, the Nusas offer a true playground with dramatic drop-offs, cleaning stations, and world-class drift dives. After returning to Lembongan, it was time to pay a visit to the third island, Nusa Ceningan, which is connected to Lembongan by the famous Yellow Bridge. Smaller than both Lembongan and Penida, Ceningan often flies under the radar, but it has a unique charm that makes it worth the detour. With a good mix of relaxed guest houses and really cool boutique stays, most with pools and ocean views, it's a great spot to slow down. But don't expect a busy center like Yonggut Batu on Lembongan. To really explore the island, a scooter is essential. Everything is a bit more spread out here, which is part of the appeal.
Good spot to visit on Nusa Ceningan is actually the Blue Lagoon. A little lagoon that is, the access is completely for free. Just by the side of the road, you just park your scooter, a few steps. Ooh, looks pretty nice. I think there's like a resort or like a bar on the cliff actually, which is open to the public. Maybe I'll check that out later. Okay, and then you walk around a little bit And you have different sides of the cliff. Wow. That looks even more impressive. Now we're actually right at the mouth of that lagoon. Beautiful spots. The color of the water is incredible. Just be careful to not go too close to the edge. But other than that, cool spot and completely for free.
And another cool thing to do here, actually to go to one of these fancy hotels or one of these beach bars, cliff bars, where you can basically just drink something and then you're allowed to use the pool. In this case here, you need to pay 50,000 for a towel, but apart from that, it's free to use the pool, and the pool here is just incredible. Infinity pool, right next to the ocean. What more can you ask? From over there you can actually see Nusa Penida right there. This is where Broken Beach is, I think. It's just incredible. Right next to the Blue Lagoon.
So this was just a little side quest. Now I want to check out Mahana Point, which is actually the second place where you can surf on Nusa Ceningan / Nusa Lembongan. It used to be kind of a secret surf spot, but it's all over the maps, so I don't feel bad telling you about this surf spot here. It's a left-hander wave just in front of the restaurant / bar where I'm going to now, and also a good spot to see the sunset.
After watching the sunset here, I joined my friends for an early morning surf session the next day. Afterwards, I kept exploring the viewpoints in Ceningan.
Wow, now I drove a little bit further, and now we're on the other side of Ceningan, where you can actually see Penida, and there's this really nice bar / cafe / restaurant, little warung by a local family, and they have just the most amazing view over to Nusa Penida. Wow, such a spot. You can walk out here on this little lookout point. I'm not sure if that's safe. And over there, that bay, is where I have been actually after being to Crystal Bay with the bungalows, where we've been just a few days ago. Wow. And over there, highest point of the island, where we've seen the Hindu temples in Nusa Penida. Wow. What a spot.
Ceningan might be the smallest of the three islands, but thanks to its slightly higher elevation in comparison to Lembongan, it offers some of the best views. With Bali's coastline and Mount Agung rising in the distance, which is best to enjoy on the west side of the island.
Also on the other side you can find these pool bars, like this one here, where you can actually look onto Lembongan. Such a nice spot to also watch the sunset, but different angle. But man, this spot, pretty cool. You order something to drink here and then you can use the pool.
All the way over there you can actually see Uluwatu and the big statue in Uluwatu, which I was talking about in the Bali episode. Visible from here, this is how big it is. So Uluwatu over there, this is the Bukit Peninsula, and then this is all Bali stretching all over there. Here you can see a bit of the shape of the mountain. There would be Mount Agung. Not visible today, but I think when you're here in dry season, you will probably every day see this magnificent view, this magnificent panorama of Bali from this spot here. You see the Yellow Bridge, you see almost all of Lembongan. Insane. Indonesia is not only Bali. And I see you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.